Holy shit, Pat. Another injury to a major star, dude. I mean, come on, man. The hits just keep on coming. Week
Oh, yeah.
4 of the season, and I feel like this is injury number what? 20, 25? Like, it's just ridiculous, dude.
Take a
Like,
ticket, and that might be it. That's the way it is right now.
yeah, man. I mean, I can't tell you how many of my teams have like at least 4 people on, like, multiple of my teams have at least 4 people that are on injured reserve, or they're out for some reason. Crazy, man. Crazy. It's been a wild year. I'm not liking it so far, man, because it's making my teams look like ass, which sucks. I don't appreciate that. But here we are. Welcome to fantasy football. What are you going to do?
Yes, is true. This is
Yeah.
the luck of the draw. This is
The
what it
luck,
is.
the luck of the draw, man. The luck of the draw. So, what's up, everyone? Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Elite Fantasy Nation podcast. I'm your host, Matt Dennis. You can follow me at Fantasy Matt EF. And as always, together with my brother, Pat Wendelken, you can follow him at City Stars 136. And as you can see at the bottom, please hit the like and subscribe. Please drop any comments that you'd like us to kind of address. We are done with week 4. We did not have a podcast last week, so we apologize. Both of us kind of had some stuff coming up where we unfortunately just were not able to get the recording in. It was a crazy week for Pat for his job. It was also a wild week for me as well. So we just had a lot going on, unfortunately. But we will do better. We promise to do better. We promise to have multiple podcasts, at least 2 a week. We're recording now. It's Wednesday evening. So we'll drop the same evening, and then we'll do a live podcast like we normally do on Fridays at our usual time. So join us on Fridays. But week 4, Pat, man, we're about a quarter of the way through the season. So this is kind of like where you either push your chips all in, or if you're in Dynasty, you start to maybe sell assets if you're 0-4. Or if you're in your redraft, this is where you really should honestly start kind of looking at like, all right, what do I need to do? How do I need to pivot? If you're 0-4, 1-3, you need to start to kind of like look at things differently. You can't just assume that, your team's going to pop back up, and make a comeback. But remember, the key, Pat, we talk about this all the time. We talked about it all in when we recorded that yesterday and dropped it this morning for South Harmon. We talk about what you need to do is not look at who's the top number 1 player. You need to look at what seed number 6 is and how do you get to the 6th spot. That's your goal for the next 10 weeks. Usually playoffs start around week 14.
Correct.
So next 10 weeks, what do you need to do to get in the 6th spot? After that, it's kind of luck, and you run through the playoffs, and you keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah,
but
man, I agree 100% because look, the top guy is probably either 4-0, 3-1 right now, give or take. Those usually are top seeds if you're in a really competitive league. And if you're looking at the 6th seed, he usually only has about 1 to 2 wins. That's give or take where you're looking. So it's not that high of a mountain to climb, but you do need to pivot and present yourself. Hey, this is redraft, and I am invested, and I am not giving up. I will continue to fight, and you got to keep going. So now is your time to make your move. You're entering week 5. Like Matt said, this is, quarter away. Make the move. You got plenty of time, but you can't really hesitate much more. You just got to make the playoffs. That's all you got to say.
You got to make the playoffs. That's your goal. Not to finish in the 1st seed, number 1 seed. That's not your goal. I mean, it's your goal if you can. That's great. But if you're in last place, we're talking about specifically, your goal is to try to hit the 6th seed. And then if you go beyond that, that's great. If you're finished 3rd or 4th, that's amazing. Finishing or currently, after week 4 in the bottom position, and you can jump all the way up to 2nd or 3rd. That usually never happens. But hitting the 6th seed, it can easily happen. Pat and I have done it a couple of seasons where we barely made it into the playoffs. Last game decided who would be the 6th seed. You inch in as kind of wild card, call it, and then the next thing you know, you're winning a championship that season. So it's happened before. So like we said, the goal is 6th seed. If you're currently in last place or 10th, between 10th and 12th, right, Pat? Like 10th to 12th, think of 6th seed and just kind of had to be your mantra and figure out how do you get to the 6th seed. Start looking at the other teams that are up there. What can you kind of trade for them? Maybe there's assets that they're not using, that you can use on your team, or you can do a 2-for-1 swap, something like that. Trade a wide receiver for running back, whatever that looks like. There's been a plethora of injuries. They might have to replace injured running backs anyways, or wide receivers. So start making moves, though.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And on that note, Pat, you need to take us through, please, the unfortunate list of news and injuries for week 4.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm going to chop this news a little differently, incorporate some, a little news, a little updates, a little start, sit, who to pick up. It's going to be a nice little blend for everybody. Yeah, guys, I got to chop this up a little different. Rasheed Rice looks like it's going to be season-ending torn ACL. Sucks for him. They had an unfortunate bump with him and his quarterback. Mahomes took his knee out basically. It was
Bent it
ugly.
backwards, bro.
Yeah,
Did not
it
look
was
good.
rough. So the beneficiary of this will be Mr. Xavier Worthy. So that will be the clear number one over there. And, I'm sure they'll be looking to trade or grab somebody sooner than later, I would say.
I would actually say, also, oh my God, the other wide receivers that are there as well. If you look at his best friend for tight end too, could be, an upswing for him as well.
Of course, yeah. Kelsey will be a beneficiary also, yeah. But I'm saying for the true wideout now, Xavier Worthy, it's his backfield. I mean, it's just like, it's his field, backfield.
Yeah, they just need to
really.
give him more opportunities and not just go routes, and see if they can actually do stuff too. So
we'll see what he has to offer. Next on my list, I have Mr. Bucky Irving. He looks like he's gonna be taking over that Tampa Bay backfield. It looks like Mr. White is losing his job slowly but surely. He was about 50% of the goal line snaps this past weekend, and yeah. And he's
Rashad does not look good.
Yeah, Rashad White is on his way out.
No, I mean it was his backfield last year, and it looks like Bucky Irvin slowly, his usage, like you said, has been growing throughout the first 4 weeks of the season. Even in week one, like he had a little bit of share, and then it grew to minimal, and then you could kind of see Bucky Irvin coming for that role, and 50% of the backfield, or I should say, goal line snaps.
Yep.
For a rookie, so they obviously like what they see in him. So I imagine in most leagues he's probably already picked up by now, but if he's not, double checking the waivers, see if you could grab him or snack him. But like I said, it's probably taken, but
yeah,
you definitely could start him.
He should be almost gone in everyone's league by now.
Yeah, I mean, he should be. If he's not, you're in some weird ass league where people aren't paying attention. But yeah, you definitely should put him in. What would you consider him, Pat? Like RB what?
He's RB2 for sure. You can be like, right underneath it.
Or flex,
RB2
flex.
Like RB2 flex for now. But he's on his way.
In your lineup, though, for sure.
Oh, yeah. He could definitely start him. Another guy that's going to be probably starting to be popping up in many people's starting lineups is going to be Scary Terry McLaurin, bro. My man has been doing great. He's now had 2 top 15 finishes 2 weeks in a row. Jane Daniels, that is his number 1 wide receiver, clearly on that team. And Jane Daniels is now a QB1 in fantasy over the first 4 weeks, my friend. We've been talking about this, Matt, and how it's been a little wild in the unpredicted 2024 season so far. That's the best way to put it. He's full unpredicted start.
I personally owe Jaden Daniels an apology, I guess. Yeah, he's, when we first started talking, it was like, his rushing ability and everything. But dude, he can throw the ball around the yard. He's dropping dimes. He did that at LSU. He's really good with it at LSU and Arizona State, ASU, which is where he was at before last year, or before his last year at LSU. But yeah, dude, he's got an arm, man. He's great positioning the ball. Obviously, he has rushing ability as well. So he's been crushing it, dude. So props to Jaden Daniels. They've got the right offense in play for him, and he's taking advantage of it. So that's awesome to see. And it's good to see.
As I was saying, I'm like, it's crazy because Jaden Daniels was kind of like the bench. Like people have like a Mahomes and Daniels. Dude, you're definitely starting Daniels over Mahomes at this point in time.
Oh, honestly, there's a lot of people, Pat, that just starting over Mahomes.
Yeah, some of these top wide receivers, top quarterbacks are now dropping, and you're like, well, they're not. They may be winning, but they're not performing for fantasy. So
no,
you got to go with the hot hand and roll with it. So Jane Daniels is definitely one of the top contenders, and he should be in everyone's lineup start.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of go back to that too, to piggyback. I know it's not about the Jaden Daniels this year's particular point here, but Patrick Mahomes, he's currently QB 15, which is crazy for where he was drafted as QB 1 or QB 2. I mean, QB 15, and he just lost his star receiver. So, could you see that falling off? And again, I think we talked about this. I don't want to go backtracking to the Rashee Rice, but it obviously benefits Kelsey. But that definitely hurts Patrick Mahomes' stock, man.
I mean, it's really it's been a really wild season. That's so
yeah. We'll talk about the team. We'll talk about some surprises and some like what the hell's later on in this episode. But yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is fantasy. It's the luck of the draw. Next up, I have Jonathan Taylor, high ankle sprain. Matt and I always talk about this. The ankle, the ACLs, all those ligaments in that leg are always a problem. So he is out. Trey Sermon was the waiver wire, hottest waiver wire pick pretty much everywhere I looked this week. And he was probably picked up almost everywhere today on Wednesday. So
yeah, he's not going to go in IR.
No,
Jonathan Taylor. But again, it's one of those things where, as Pat just said, like, it could be 2 weeks and then they try to get him back and it re-aggravates it. High ankle sprain has a lot of reoccurrence. And once they get it, it's kind of pain management, and it's a matter of like, how much they can do until it kind of goes away. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Trace Sermon, if you've not already run your waivers, if you run them Thursday morning, which I actually have one league that does that, definitely make sure you put in a claim for Trace Sermon, because he will be the lead back in that offense for the next couple of weeks at minimum.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Next on my list, Carson Steele, not the band of steel we expected over in Kansas City. Looking a little flexible, like a wet noodle, dropping the ball, a lot of fumbling issues.
He was benched, dude. He was. They threw him right out of that lineup. They're like, "Yep, you're good."
So it's gonna be Kareem Hunt taking over again for sure with some IJP Ryan. Those are gonna be here too. You're gonna be seeing in and out. So
crazy.
It was real Steele, and now you're gone.
And you got to remember too, CEH is coming off of, he's currently on the non-exempt, non-football contact injury. So he's, been ruled out for a while, but he could be coming back anytime.
Yep. That's another one.
That as of week 5, he can come back. So there's also going to be somebody else, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that could be back in, CEH. So keep your eye on that. But yeah, as of now, Kareem Hunt looks like, after sitting out, all of preseason, and they signed him like 2 weeks ago, he's now their lead back. So it's
pretty crazy how that goes now.
It's nuts, dude.
Talk about backfields that are interesting. Yep. The Jets are interesting in general. So let's go into this now. It's going to be a split. Let's be honest. It's getting towards the same thing. It's Breece Hall slowly being chewed and then spit up on the other side. And it's just getting like Pac-Man, just little by little coming in, chewing. And Braylon Allen, man, he's coming in hot. He's starting to take taking some spots from him. Like Braylon Allen, we've talked about this many times before. He's a big dude. Man's a monster, bro. If you haven't seen him play, I'm in the New York, New Jersey area, so I see him all the time. The dude's an absolute freak of nature. He's a monster.
I mean, I saw him in Wisconsin, dude. He was a beast coming out of college. He's a bigger back, but has a lot of power. Still has a lot of agility considering how big he is. So, he's. I mean, it's nuts what's happening in the backfield. And just in general, like what's happened to a lot of backfields, as far as like split shares and everything. But nobody really assumed. I mean, everybody looked at Breece Hall as like the running back too. CMC, you could say Breece Hall, we're probably like, 1, 2. Bijan Robinson is probably 3, or he might have flipped 2 and 3 with Breece and Bijan.
Yeah,
but I mean, considering that you drafted running back 2, where he is now, it's kind of insane the fact that he's sharing as much as he is with a rookie coming in from Wisconsin.
Yeah, listen, it's key. Things are going to be revolving and turning a lot as the season goes, and I don't think a lot of these teams are even set. I think we're going to see continuous change, like from 1 to 2 to 2 to 1, or injury. But I'm just saying, like some of these split backs, it's only a matter of time that one will take over fully. In my opinion, and it sucks. Yeah, but this one, I can truly see like a 50-50 minus it bearing an injury. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, a lot of backfields are split to some degree nowadays. Like you very rarely will find one backfield. I feel like Indianapolis is like the only backfield that truly has like a dog as their lead back, and like only like gets, Jonathan Taylor and 80% of the carries. We'll bring him out every once in a while, but it's not that frequently.
I mean, King Henry is looking like the
same. That's same. That's great. That's a great call too. Pat, what I want to do after you get through the news and kind of these notes, I want to walk through like a typical round 1 of a redraft and highlight all the players, like just where they're picked, and then we can talk about like who currently is actually injured or out or has major issues. Because I'm looking at this list in round 1, just like a typical round 1 draft, and I'm like, wow, more than half these players have issues.
Yeah,
half, if not more.
I love it. Let me rip through this. Let's keep riffing.
Yep.
Lad McConkey should be in your starting lineup. I would say from here on out. Justin Herbert has him as his clear number 1, 100%. And he is literally catching everything thrown to him. So Lad has to be in there for sure. Even
he was known that coming out of college too, just like his hands and just being super reliable. That's why he was drafted where he was drafted. And that's why everybody's excited about him, coming out of college, was just because his hands, he's so reliable. So yeah, number 1 offense, or number 1 wide receiver in that offense. So for sure.
Oh yeah. Here's the negative, and this is going to be starting from here on out, and I'll run through it quick. The tight ends have just been abominable this year. The top tight ends have been no shows from here to the moon, the way it's been going, from either injuries or just not playing at all and not putting out any effort, not earning anything. It's tight end.
It's been a dumpster fire for tight end. It's like not tight end U. It's like tight end PU. It's like, what the hell, dude? It's like, this shit stinks, dude.
So like I said, Mark Andrews, he's at the point where people are going to be dropping him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, or even holding the spot. You have other people on other tight ends, like a Jonnu Smith or random people that have better share than he does even this year. So
Tucker Kraft. I mean, seriously,
another
dude.
one jumping up, and he was number 2 in Green Bay.
Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. Mark Andrews
did it.
Had 1 target, no catches, 0 point. Okay, that's 1.
Second week in a row was 0 points and 0 catches, 0 points. Second week in a row.
Kyle Pitts, 3 targets, no catches, 0 points. He's done because this was his make or break year. I feel like there ain't nothing else holding him on. I mean, just think about it.
That's
Like
just crazy, dude.
It's just the way the things have been going.
It's a tight end graveyard, man.
Yeah, man.
Like you said,
every week we've been talking about it. It's like where they've been. Kelsey had a semi decent week. This is probably his first, decent one. Plus,
he'll have better. We talked about that too. There's
bearing the injury issue now, so that's going to be it. So, yeah, we'll get into that later, bro. Colts, Anthony Richardson, day-to-day abdominal strain. Keep an eye on that. There should be other better quarterbacks anyway for you to start than him anyway at this point in time. There should be some people on the waiver wire and people just floating around in general. So I wouldn't be stressing that too much.
Well, we all saw that dude. Like he got injured and was like pulled out for a couple of minutes while they looked at him. They put him in the very next split. They put him in. They basically did a QB run pass option. They did a QB option with it. It's like, what are you thinking, dude? And they got injured like right away.
Not that the game plan isn't that smart down in Indy. Let's put it that way. So we'll let that go. This has been in my headlines and news again 2 days straight. Devontae Adams wants out. Now everyone knows it. Coach Pierce said it. He doesn't even care. Wasn't even referring to his name, just his jersey number today in interviews. So he's on his way out. He will get his way out. That's such a toxic
relationship. Yeah, apparently they're already fielding calls. They've already had calls for him. So.
It's just gonna see who fits and where he wants to go. It's gonna be all 3. As long as all 3 can agree on it, he's gone. It's not even gonna be a question. It's just a matter of time. It's not where or what or why or anything. It's just when. When are they gonna get the right call with the right mix? They said the top 2 landing spots is the Jets and the Saints, and that's on the betting odds too. The Jets are like -7, Vegas minus 170, and I want to say the Saints were like plus 200. So, but everyone else is like high as hell after that. But those are the top 2, just so everyone knows. So does Rodgers?
Yeah, I mean,
get
there's also Kansas City.
Or
people have talked about Kansas City too.
Yeah, but that was like they were plus like 800. I'm just saying, these odds guys know they get their crazy facts quick as hell.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also like if you think about Kansas City, like they want to win. A third championship, to be the first team to ever do that, to go to do a 3-peat in the NFL. So like,
and it's looking slimmer and slimmer because if you don't make a move sooner or later, there ain't much holding that team. There's only glue and sticks and tape holding them together for slowly going down the list, man.
The other thing that I kind of heard was like Brandon Ayuk, if they were to contact the 49ers and see if they could get Ayuk.
Be different. I could see that fit too.
I mean, who knows? But they got to do something, dude. They're 4-0. It's kind of crazy that like they've had
also today, year. Before I forget,
yeah,
Hopkins is requesting a trade. That's news today. D-Hop is looking to get the hell out of Tennessee. Read that today.
That I didn't hear.
And Amari Cooper.
When did that drop?
Today. Amari Cooper also is another one that's looking for a potential suitor to get the hell out of the Browns.
There's been talking about Amari Cooper for a while. So the D-Hop is probably new. And I think D-Hop is probably a little bit harder because he was injured at the beginning of the year. So I don't know who's going to really give him, waiver, like give Tennessee at least enough draft capital to like pull somebody that's been injured. So
he's an aging wide receiver.
Well, they all are
with injury.
If you think about it, injury, yeah, that's the only difference is like he's got the injury.
So that's a little update what I got for today, and hopefully by the time you hear from us on Friday, something else has changed and I give you something different.
Yeah. So Pat, I want to make sure that we always cover the buys. So we're having bye week start this week. There are 4 teams currently out on bye. One of them is actually Tennessee, which Pat just mentioned, with D-Hop asking for out there. So maybe he's got an extra week to work something out before he's got to play another game. The Detroit Lions, which obviously has a lot of fantasy implications. Philadelphia Eagles, and then the LA Chargers. So those are the 4 teams for the week. 3 very important teams as far as, what you've got from a fantasy perspective. So, make sure obviously everybody's checking the lineup, just to kind of position and pre-think, like where you might need some holes or need to fill some holes. And actually I'll jump to week 6 too. If you guys want to do like preemptive, strike or trades or whatever to look forward to week 6. So for next week, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, LA Rams, Miami Dolphins, and the Minnesota Vikings. are on
6.
bye. Yeah, so they're all going to be sit for week 6.
Yeah.
It's funny too if you go to ESPN website, which is what I'm on to look at the bye weeks. They usually have the team and then just the name of the team at the bottom for the schedule.
Mhm.
They have it Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, and then it said Argers, but they just changed it to Vikings. Like I literally just watched it change. It said Argers. I don't know what the hell somebody typed in Argers, so I just thought that was funny.
A little bit of an error there.
Yeah. All right, Pat.
Good.
Well, yeah, that's a long list, man. I feel like you've got every week it gets bigger and bigger. Your scope as far as injury and reports. So
yeah, man, it's okay. That's what I'm here for, man. I love it just to keep up
Pat's
with
on top of it.
keep with
Pat's
the
on top
know.
of it.
So, Matt,
right.
I'm interested to see this. This is kind of
All right,
cool. Break this up.
We talked about this, doing this on the fly, right, Pat? Like we didn't even talk about this in pre-show notes. But like kind of as they're talking about injury, I was just kind of thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, let's go through the first round and look at who was drafted. And again, this may deviate, from one league to another, but in essence, this is probably people. This isn't, top average draft positions as far as that goes. It's just one of my leagues. I'm pulling up, looking at the first round. You have 101 CMC injured. Who knows when the hell he's going to be coming back? Apparently, it's not just tendonitis, not just in one leg, or Achilles tendonitis, not just in one leg. It's now gone to the other leg, which is really weird.
Very odd situation.
He's also been to Germany to have it evaluated. So there's talks that he may not be back till November at the very earliest. So pretty much could be the whole entire fantasy year, at least the regular season. You've missed CMC and you took him at 101. Sucks for those people at 101. This would now be the third year out of the past, I want to say 5 years, that CMC has been a top drafted 101 and has failed to finish the season without getting injured or being injured, which is insane. Insane, dude. The last 3 times, and there's 2 other times I think Jonathan Taylor is one of them, was 101. So the 2 other times out of the 5 years, it was somebody else in the 101 position besides CMC. But when he has been in there, he's been cursed, man. That's all I got to say.
Not looking too good, bro.
102, Tyreek Hill. Not a direct injury to him, but Tua's out. His stock is plummeted. I mean, he's almost worthless at this point until Tua comes back. Hopefully, there's talks, Pat, we didn't go through this at the beginning. There's talks that apparently I was seeing that Tua's not having any symptoms. So as soon as he is allowed to come off of IR, there's talks, I think it's in week 8 that he comes off, that he can go right back into the lineup. So Tua's not talking about retirement. He wants to play. So it looks like he might be back week 8. So just remember that if you have somebody trying to get Tyreek Hill off of you, I wouldn't recommend it unless they give you a haul, or unless you're in Dynasty and you get in a haul for it. If you're in a redraft, I definitely would not do it. I would stash him just because you're going to need him. He could be a winner for you, or if you trade him to somebody else, you could be handy in the keys to a championship to somebody else's team when Tua comes back, middle of the season. So
Matt, since we're on a freestyle, I did a trade yesterday. I want to know what you think.
Let's get through week 1, round 1.
But don't let me forget, though. I'm throwing it out there.
That's on you to remember.
I will forget.
We'll get through round 1 because I don't want to get too choppy. I want the listeners to be able to listen through the whole entire round.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb goes after that, right? So CeeDee Lamb's been pretty damn good, inconsistent a little bit, but pretty damn good. Bijan Robinson,
not really that great.
Not really that great. Jamar Chase just now started to pop. First 2 weeks of the season, you could say he was very underwhelming. Justin Jefferson, been amazing considering that we thought Sam Darnold was going to be the death of Justin Jefferson.
He's been the most solid in that
out of the first 6 that we just talked about, right?
For sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Hands down.
100%. If you were to redraft it today, I could easily see JJ as being the second person drafted. I won't say the first person because he's not even in the first round this year, but for me, it would be Nico Collins if you could redraft. He is the 101 right now as far as
JJ be
Justin
2.
Jefferson probably 2, right?
And Saquon be 3.
Oh yeah, Saquon would be 3 for sure. Okay, so after JJ, Breece Hall. You just talked about what's happening at Breece Hall.
Yeah,
with Brandon Allen taking over some of his workload. Not even really his backfield anymore.
No,
or solo his backfield, I should say. He's not going to be the dominant Breece Hall that it was last year.
It's going to be a dual threat back there.
Yeah. Amon-Ra St. Brown, been good, but again, that offense has been very inconsistent.
Yeah, slow
Goff
start.
has had really bad weeks, and then they dominated last week, and then so it's been very up and down, not a consistency by any means.
Agreed.
AJ Brown, injured.
Yeah, he was on pace to stay up there, and then all of a sudden, IR.
Yep. Then you've got Saquon Barkley, who's been a beast.
I'm looking at running back this year, basically next to Kamara.
Oh, dude, 100%. In this draft that I'm looking at, he was taken in the 10th position. So think about all those other people before him that are basically worthless, and he was picked up in the 10th. Actually, by Jack. Then you've got Garrett Wilson, underwhelming. And then offense looks very sluggish. Doesn't look like there's any speed to it. There's any urgency. So yeah, it looks really bad. Then you've got Jonathan Taylor, who was a beast up until now. Now he's got his injuries. You go second round. I'm just going to highlight the people in the second round that have been injured. Puka Nacua.
Injured.
Pacheco, gone.
Injured.
ATN's been basically
off and on. He hasn't done as much.
Olave, off and on. Devontae Adams, off and on. Josh Jacobs has had amazing weeks, like some really good weeks, and then some questionable weeks. Yep. Rashad White, and then it finishes it up in round 2, Brandon Ayuk. Rough. So I'm going to go through them again. We'll talk. I'm going to highlight. So out of those 24 picks, Pat, let's go through CMC, the ones that are like affected by either injury or something where they've hurt your team.
Yeah, go ahead.
CMC, yes. Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. We'll say Bijan just because he's not doing as well as he's supposed to. I'll leave Chase and Jefferson, Brees Hall. Yep. Didn't see that coming. AJ Brown.
Yep.
Garrett Wilson, Jonathan Taylor with his injury currently. Puka Nacua.
Mm-hmm.
Pacheco. Mm-hmm. ATN.
Yep.
You could say, and then I'd say Rashad White and Ayuk. I would say Olavi could probably keep where he's at for now. I mean, I don't think it is. So that's.
And 12. I was going to say Cooper Kupp was there too, man. He was in like
depending
on where he was. So.
I have him like in the third round in this particular draft, but yes, he probably was close up. Sam Laporta was right ahead of Puka. Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp. Yeah. Dude, that was half of the first 24 people selected. Either have major like injury designations, have had somebody else injured that affects them, or have just like gone off for some reason to oblivion.
Oof.
That's half of the people drafted. Isn't that insane, dude?
Bad. Very bad.
I just thought that was like interesting to think like this far in the season. We're only week 4, dude. It's like
I'm with it, dude. It's bananas. Do you want to know?
You look at like Malik Neighbors was drafted in the 3rd round in most leagues. Nico Collins is back into the 3rd round.
I love it. So are you ready to give the top 10 current standings of who's top 10 right now?
Top 10. Oh, you're going to give trade first. That was your next thing, was the trade.
If you want to, I can leave that at the end of the show. I didn't forget.
Okay. Top 10 for what? By positions? You got to be more clarified.
However you want me to break it. You tell me what you want to do. You want to do just top 10 in general, who it is? Or you want me to go by position?
Let's do overall. Well,
we do overall offense.
You would have to do an overall offense probably without quarterback, though, right? Or are you assuming... Like you got to set the context.
That's fine. Whatever. That's why I said I can go by category or not, man. Completely up to you.
Why don't we do top 10 by offense, and then we'll break it down by position. How about that?
Number 1 overall, Alvin Kamara.
Okay, this includes quarterbacks. I just want to make sure, right?
Yes, correct. Okay. Yes, said Saquon Barkley is coming in at number 2. Derrick Henry's number 3.
Can I ask? This is PPR, right?
Of course. I don't think anyone even does standard anymore.
I just want to make sure that we're clarifying.
So full point PPR.
And then it's QB passing touchdowns are 6 or 4?
4.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're highlighting it. It's usually so the numbers that he just gave is typically a dynasty league. So maybe if you do a redraft league.
This is my redraft. This is my redraft league.
It is. But okay, you only do 4 points. All right, perfect. All right, sorry, I interrupted you. My bad.
It's okay. So Kamara 1, Saquon 2, Derrick the King Henry 3.
He just because he boomed the past couple of weeks. He was not up there.
He was not up there. Trust me on that. This is with quarterbacks, mind you. So the top 3 are all running backs. Okay?
Insane. PPR, full PPR.
Full PPR. Yeah. Now I have quarterbacks, and this is 4 points. Remember that. Lamar is coming in at number 4. He's your first quarterback.
Okay.
Number 2 is Jaden Daniels.
Dude, that's insane.
Think about that. The rookie, he's right now sitting number 5 overall in fantasy, number 2 quarterback overall.
Yeah,
that's impressive, man. Love it.
That's it.
Here you go. Another one. Baker Mayfield's coming in at number 6.
So top 6, none of which include a wide receiver at this point or tight end.
3.
Obviously.
The first 3 are running backs, and then the next 3 are.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, like at this.
How
at this
crazy
point,
is that? It's insane.
Yeah, that's insane, dude.
The top 3 quarterbacks this year so far: Lamar, Jaden Daniels, and Baker Mayfield. You couldn't have fucking not written that. You must have had a crystal ball if you put something crazy like this together. There's no way you could have hit this one.
The only person who would have thought Lamar would even Lamar is the only one that you could possibly say
Yeah.
that somebody would have predicted being at
But
101.
Baker
like the
Mayfield's and
number
Jane
one.
Daniels, no
No, hell
freaking
no,
way.
hell no, hell no. All right, keep going.
Nico Collins, here's your first wide receiver at 7.
Yeah, he's wide receiver 1 for sure.
Yeah. Following very close by only by a point is Malik Neighbors, another rookie at number 8.
And I told you both of those were drafted in typically in the 3rd round, if not
Correct.
sliding
So
into
think
the
about
4th
that.
round.
Your first 2 wide receivers off the board, and you're not even close to being that top tier at
Yeah,
all.
that's insane.
Wild. Following them is Geno Smith, another quarterback.
Geno Smith, fucking old man Geno.
Yeah.
Making
And then,
QB4.
dude, think about that, bro. So that's insane. He's QB4. Never would have put that together. QB5, Mr. Sam Darnold finishing in over
that you can well, just like nobody would have expected it, I guess, but like knowing how good that offense is doing and the fact that they're 4-0, like you could see that, like, yes, that he would be up there.
That's your top 10 right there.
Go to 12 because this is like if you're to draft tomorrow.
So, okay, 12. Number
12.
11, JJ. So Darnold and JJ are right next to each other, which is funny. And then rounding off, I mean, it doesn't even make sense, but Justin Fields.
Well, because he's rushing.
I know.
He
But
scored
just think about
touchdowns.
it. Would you have ever thought?
No.
Just think of that. Dude, it blows my mind. Like these numbers. Like,
so there's only 2 wide receivers. Only 2 wide receivers in the top 12.
Three.
What was the third one?
Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson.
Oh, JJ. Okay.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry. Nico was the one that I think.
Yeah, he's number 1. But I'm just saying, do you understand how crazy that is?
Dude.
Come on.
That is nuts. I mean, it's crazy. Like, this has been the wildest, dude. I mean, the list of injuries. I mean, let's just, like, go through all that. Like, Debo was out. You had, Achan. You've had let me just see. Pittman's been a bust, so he's not a really injury.
He's out.
Trying to see what else. We've already went through the top ones in the first few rounds.
All the tight ends are bust.
Joe Mixon hurt. Injured.
Tank Dell. All the tight ends hurt. Andrews, Kelsey, and Laporta. Those are your top 3 that have been like, he's been off and on or just horrible. Like mentally hurt, I think, at this point in time. That's what I'm saying hurt. Like their feelings are hurt because they're like, who am I and where am I? There's no way you could be proud of yourself with what's going on. Period.
No.
Sorry. So
no. You're good. Yeah, dude. Kind of crazy. I'm glad that you kind of threw that in there. Yeah, so let's talk about, some of the biggest surprises. We did this for all in, so let's kind of repeat it here.
Yeah, that's okay.
So if you want to pull up, kind of talk about the biggest surprises that we got. So if you want to kind of kick it off with the first couple, I mean, you kind of talked about, you could do the grouping first if you want to. We've both mentioned it multiple times.
I'll get it out. Just the tight ends in general this year have been absolutely horrendous. That's the best way to describe it. Like, I've never seen a bad start for all of them. Like, I'll just, like I said, since we're going to go through it, I'm going to give you a top couple tight ends and where you would even think of them. Like, they're never remotely close to what you would put them in the top range. Dallas Goedert is number 1 right now currently. Kittle is number 2. Brock Bowers is 3. Cole Kmet is 4. Isaiah Likely is 5. Pat Freiermuth is 6. Trey McBride, you're getting a little hotter, at 7. Dalton Kincaid at 8. Zach Ertz at 9. Ferguson at 10. No Kelsey. No Andrews. No Laporta.
I mean,
no Evan Ingram. Like, I mean, I know he's hurt, but I'm just saying, like, the people you really thought. No Kyle Pitts. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what's going on, man. Isn't that crazy to you?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I dropped a note for you, Pat, so check it out in the comments. The other thing too, like, you kind of talked about tight ends. Dude, the Jags offense. Can we just talk about that?
The whole Jags offense is a little crazy and horrendous at this point in time. Yeah. Starting with their quarterback, their coach, the running game, wide receivers, and they had a good amount of hype built up. I kind of was like, damn, excited to see what they can do after a decent year last year. You know what I mean? I was kind of like, all right, we'll see what they can build off of.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't think they're going to be like rock stars, but you also didn't think they're going to be dumpster fire, man.
I also didn't think they would be.
Dude, they're 0-4.
Winless.
If the season ended, they literally today have the number 1 overall pick.
Wild.
I looked at it earlier and take it down. I was like, oh my gosh, because I was trying to see because the Bears are playing Carolina, and I was trying to see where Carolina was. But now that the Red Rifles have been playing, they're actually, I think, like 7th now as far as tank position 7th if they were to draft currently this year. Yeah, dude, the
It's wild.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
So wild, man. I'm like,
What do you think they would do at the pick 101? Do you think they would actually go for a quarterback? We're going off the riff, man. Like another week.
I think they're gonna go for a coach.
Well, the coach, they don't need to draft the coach.
No,
obviously.
but I'm saying usually with the coach, they want the quarterback sometimes. I mean, like usually they kind of pair them, like they want what they want to start with their situation. I don't know, man. That's a great question. Is Trevor Lawrence done? Is Sunshine gone? Like, what are they gonna do?
Well,
they
and, like,
invested in him heavy too.
And honestly, like looking at the next draft class, like they're not as many quarterbacks as high up as what people are expecting. Like, granted, that's only 5 weeks into the NCAA season.
Yep.
That could change drastically. We know quarterbacks can come out of nowhere in college towards the end and get high draft capital. But, you know, currently
I wouldn't give
at
up
the
on
101,
him,
like I don't think any quarterback currently coming out of college would be worth the 101.
Yeah,
to be honest
I
with you.
wouldn't. You got to stick with T-Law, and I think you need a new coach or a new system because it's just, I don't think it's working. It's not working. Especially it's just.
The coach is gonna be fired. I can guarantee
Doug
if they
Peterson's
lose,
long gone, dude.
I can guarantee you if they lose another week,
he's gonna be fired. Yeah,
they're not gonna.
Not even mid-season.
They might wait until like the bye week, you know. But they're definitely not going to go through the season with him as their head coach.
I'm gonna say this: the only ray of hope that I like down in Jacksonville is the rookie, Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas, dude, he's a stud, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's like the only like
coming out of Texas. Like it was like,
I love what he is.
Or
and
sorry,
I was
LSU,
high on him.
LSU,
I was completely high on him from the beginning.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I picked him in.
There's a lot of hype coming out of LSU for him. So
LSU breeds wide receivers, baby. That's just that's like the big thing.
Yeah,
dude. So just I'm saying, real quick breakdown is like he's got 14, 13, 9, and 21. So for a rookie on a bad team, Brian Thomas Jr. That's what he's averaged in a full point PPR. That's not bad. That's solid, dude. He should be in like your lineup. I'm telling you, like I know it sounds crazy because of what it is.
Dude, I've replaced him in lineups. Like I've had him in a lot of lineups where I've felt like he was much better than the other people that I had within that position.
So if I'm gonna say that's a surprise right there on a horrible team. That's one of my surprises for for what we're talking about. So besides the crappy tight ends not making it, to give you a little bit of sunshine and hope, I'm gonna go with Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. He's been a stud. Like I said, though, I mean, I don't think in that crappy offense. I think it's been kind of a shame, that he's stuck with that quarterback. Who Trevor Lawrence does not look like an NFL quarterback, to be honest with you. He looks lost sometimes.
Yeah,
he's had a couple of decent games, but in general, like he has not looked like an overall first round pick or number one pick, I guess you could say. But even B, just to be considered like the franchise quarterback. Like,
for sure. I agree with you 100%.
It's crazy, dude. Like you think about it. And then you got Justin Fields who goes over to Pittsburgh and is like balling out. And then they're like 3-1 or whatever they are now.
I mean, Matt, just raffle off some of the quarterbacks. Come on, dude. Those are some of the biggest surprises. Let them know.
Oh, Mahomes is the biggest. I mean,
come on.
But honestly, like even for Mahomes, like we talked about this, dude. If you go all the way back to last year, like if you look at Mahomes and any games that he scored over 20 fantasy points for like a 6-point touchdown, I think it was a 6-point that I said last time, right? Right, Pat? I think it was a 6-point.
Correct.
He hasn't done that. He did it once this season so far, but prior to that, he hadn't done it for 7 weeks straight before he got his first one this season. So it's like he is not a QB1 anymore, dude. Like I don't know how many times we need and I have him in a couple leagues. I have him in Dynasty, I have him in Keeper League. In my Keeper League, I'm currently he's valued at like round 5, and I'm like, is it even worth that for me to give up to keep him when I could get a better quarterback? He's just not the Patrick Mahomes. He's not the dominant. He's going to score 30 points in 1 week. Like that doesn't happen anymore. Like it's happened maybe once or twice in the past 2 years, which is insane to think of. Consider that's Patrick Mahomes, and must draft, must be QB2. Like,
his upside is so amazing. A little cool stat with that. Like, so like they rank him at the end of the year. Like, it's 22 season 23. His total.
Oh yeah, you just got to go. Like, if you go to sleeper,
113 for QB. Total rank. I'm saying like 113. That's like
you're saying total rank. Yeah, you got to clarify that because he didn't.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. There's not even like 113 quarterbacks. That's what I'm saying. Like 113, he ranks overall in the field of play
for offense.
For offense in a back-to-back Super Bowl wins. Think about that. That's your quarterback. That's like not even. I don't know. I think it's just weird. Like that's just way off to what I would think. He's currently sitting at 36. I'm just saying, it's like I don't know, it just doesn't line up to me
Wait,
sometimes.
that doesn't make. Well, how is he sitting at currently 36 when you're saying that is that
He
QB
ranked him at
36?
113, and then quarterback. No, he's not 36 in quarterback.
So I don't understand those two numbers.
That's what Yahoo has him ranked at 36, which is crazy. That's what it's telling me right now for this season for 24.
Yeah, they're probably projecting him as far as the next week that goes. I thought you were looking in Yahoo as far as like the points that he's scored so far.
It says last 4 weeks ranks 36. Last week rank was 57.
Did the last time I was in a Yahoo league, man? I don't necessarily
they
trust
kind of
Yahoo leagues.
They give it a little while. I like the new update anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not big on it. There's so many quarterbacks looking at him where he stands. It's just like it doesn't even like add up, man. But it is what it is, man. But you should not be starting him anymore. That's for sure.
Hell no, dude. So let's talk about like some bonus, like some happy surprises, some good surprises, man. We kind of talked about a couple before. Sam Darnold, put him up there, man. Like,
awesome.
Who saw that guy? We talked about the prospect of doing Sam Darnold as quarterback in Minnesota instead of JJ McCarthy. Could you imagine actually JJ McCarthy is playing and didn't get hurt? Yeah. Like Justin Jefferson might not be as good. They might not be 4-0. Like they might be 1-3 or whatever, dude. Like Sam Darnold is balling out, dude. Like that.
Dude, he's got 11 passing touchdowns with to 3 interceptions. He's looking phenomenal, dude. His ratios. He's got 932 passing yards already.
Oh, dude, he's been tossing around the yard. Like he's got the perfect coaching staff to bring the best out of him. Honestly, dude, it's kind of insane considering that like had no success at his previous, two teams. The Jets. That whole thing is seeing ghosts. Like how they got caught. I think it was Monday night. Was it a Monday Night Football? I think he was like mic'd up or something. Like a mic that had caught him basically saying there's a hot mic near him, and they caught him saying, "I'm seeing ghosts out there." And like the guy next to him was like looked at him and was like, "What did you say?"
It just sucks. I mean, I'm actually happy for the guy though. Really,
No, dude. I mean, it's good. Respect. It's the same thing with Baker Mayfield. Nobody had respect for Baker Mayfield, and he just continually goes out there and balls out. And it's like, granted, it took him a few years to, and this is probably what it goes down to. Like, in the right systems, quarterbacks can thrive or they can look like trash. So it's like it all just depends on your coaching staff.
1,000,000%.
Your OC is. And how they kind of like put faith in you and the pieces that they put around you, right? So, a good thing about Sam Darnold is he's got JJ, he's got Jefferson, and so he's got Addison now that just came back off an injury. There's another one that was injured too, Addison. I mean, so many goddamn injuries, dude. And that's the thing with Mahomes. It's going to suck with him, losing Rashee Rice. Is like he has no like legitimate number one anymore except for Kelsey.
Can I say the other one that I find it's funny we say this? We're talking about Sam Darnold and Geno Smith, 2 ex-Jets, and they're absolutely balling out, and they're in the right system. It's just like if the shoe fits, you wear it. It's like a Cinderella thing. It's like sometimes it might take a couple little places to bounce around, and look where you're ending up. You know what I mean? Like, and now he's doing great, and he's gonna get paid. These people, they deserve what they have to do. You know what I mean? Like, he's already got 1,100 yards, bro. Insane. Like he's slinging the ball, and that's why Metcalf, JSN, and Lockett are feeding and eating over there, bro. And I'm excited to see them beat the Giants' ass this weekend. Just so you know. Oh yeah, that's my pick already. I'm telling you, I'm taking Seahawks.
I don't know. Your Danny Dimes kind of stepped it up last week, and
I agree. But with Neighbors and he said protocol for concussion. I don't think he's playing, bro. He hasn't even made it through. He failed it twice already. So
well, I mean, he can't. He's got all until Sunday to make it through. So, I mean, there's no telling that he won't make it through necessarily. But if he doesn't, it's going to be a dumpster fire for the Giants. They've got nobody.
There's no one else besides him. He is the only glimmering hope in that team.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What else you got? No, you go.
I do. Me, personally, I mean, I love the quarterback story means the most to me, I guess you could say, out of everything else. But I'm going to say Saquon Barkley's got to be my running back because I really doubted him. Going from the Giants, kind of like, having a rough time, gets traded. Then he goes there and people are like, oh, the tush push, this, that, like Hurts is there and, it's high powered offense. And it's like Hurts is barely doing it. They end up with major injuries already with, AJ Brown's out. Then Devontae's out with
Devontae's out too. We didn't talk about that.
So he's like, just put it on my back. I got you guys. Don't worry about it. I'm going to do the best I can. And that's why he's ranked number 2 running back in the league. And he's absolutely balling out this year. And good for him because I didn't predict it at all.
Yeah,
playing an absolute solid game already. So I'm like, that's kind of one of my top. That's another surprise. Derrick Henry is not a surprise to me because The dude's
Oh, he's
just
the
a
king, dude.
monster.
The king
He's
is back.
king.
The king is back.
The
I
king
mean, let's
never
just be
lost.
honest, man.
Yeah, I don't think he ever lost his crown. He's like, no. Let me stretch this out, put it on, tighten everything up. I got the ball. Lamar, relax. You don't have to take the brunt of this. I'll take the rest.
How many people do you think freaked out after week 1 and like traded off shares? I think you did at one point, didn't you?
Not week 1, but I was close. But I did. I ended up cutting them. I got some decent back, but it wasn't anything crazy. But yes, I did.
And I mean, and it's just that because of you. I'm just thinking like in general.
Oh
like, how many
no,
managers
you're
like
100%
panicked like
right.
week 1 and is like, I'll take whatever the hell I can get.
But I'll admit it. I got Bijan Robinson for him at the time. That was the trade.
Straight up.
I threw in DJ Moore with it just to get rid of him because I didn't like Moore either. Moore
So
had one good
Henry
game.
and Moore for Bijan.
And that was 2 weeks ago.
That's tough.
It's all right. Listen, I just was like,
what is your other trade? Let's talk about your other trade now.
Oh, I did. Garrett Wilson's gone. I traded him yesterday.
For what?
Drake London. I'm out.
Straight up?
Straight up.
Okay.
Nothing, not sexy, not the worst.
No.
People can, you know what I mean? You can comment, like, whatever, say whatever you want on it. But, I don't trust the Jets. I will never trust a Jet ever again. Any of them.
I wonder how that's going to turn when I do the editing, you bastard. You gotta,
I know, I did
be
on
careful
purpose.
Be careful with your mic, dude, because like I have to like literally go through and edit it.
You understand? You remember in The Hangover?
I'll reach across you and smack you. Reach across you and smack you.
Listen, never trust the Jets, dude. From the head
Well, never trust Aaron Rodgers. How about that?
The coach, the running back.
Well, Jets still stink. Jets. Jets still stink.
Oh, don't get me started. So yes. So now I am heavily invested in the Atlanta Falcons now, since I have two. I have their two.
Which, I mean, they haven't been looking the best either. I mean, to be honest with you,
hasn't been the best, hasn't been the worst. Nope. So we'll see what happens tomorrow against Tampa Bay. So I'm excited for that.
Thursday night football, dude.
Another news. You saw Ramondre Stevenson? He looked like he about to lose his spot too.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
I got Gibson in the wing waiting. I saw that coming because after he started fumbling, I'm like,
yeah, Gibson, man. Gibson looks like he might be the lead back in that.
If you don't have him, and when this shit drops, go get Gibson because I think you're gonna have a starting running back in New England because Stevenson's on his way out. He can't hold the ball for anything besides probably being the worst team in the league. That just adds to it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I talked enough, Matt. You pick somebody.
Yeah, we'll do a couple more, then we'll call it a day. We're already at the 45-minute mark. So we've hit on most of these. I think Kamara actually would probably be the one that I would say. Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Or Kamara and Derek Carr. I think that the two of them are just like that New Orleans offense started off very hot. They had a week where they kind of slowed down a little bit, came back down to reality, but their whole offenses look like on fire, dude.
Now,
so I think that's kind of insane.
If Adams joins that crew, how do you feel that would go?
I mean, they've got Chris Olave in there, so
Olave on the left, him on the right.
It would actually probably help Olave at the end of the day because they're either going to double team Devontae or they're going to double team Olave. They'd have to open up the one of them specifically. Yeah, I mean, it could help. I mean, the offense has already showed that they're electric. I mean, they scored 44 points, I think, on what was it, Dallas at Dallas at Jerry's World week 2. I mean, it's like that offense has been on fuego. So yeah, I mean, it could be awesome. Last thing that I'll say too is, and then we'll kind of wrap it up, dude. We can talk about Thursday Night Football, what we're excited to see. Maybe we'll just sit real quick of Thursday Night Football. Sure. But the wide receiver rookies, dude, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors, both of them had a little bit slow starts, but since they've come on, dude, they haven't monsters.
Can't stop, won't stop. Loving those two, bro. Love it.
Dude, yeah. I mean, you've already said like Malik is already, up there as far as the wide receivers. Was he wide receiver 2, I think you said, for this
season?
Number
2 currently, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not far from 1 either. I mean, but barring him sitting out with a concussion, that's what's only going to drop him. Other than that, if he is green lighted to go, I mean, I could see him taking the number 1 spot because he's going to get everything thrown to him anyway.
Yes. Yeah, he is.
So, Matt, sit. I'm down. Let's do it.
Let's do it. For Thursday Night Football. So you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, honestly, I think that this is going to be this is an awesome kind of teams to have to go for Thursday Night Football to kick off the week for you for week 5. Yeah. I'll take Tampa Bay.
Let's do it.
Starting Baker Mayfield. I mean, honestly, at this point, start him, over a lot of Quarterbacks, he's up there as far as what he's done this season. Starting Mike Evans, starting Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin, I know he wasn't on your list as far as top 12 for total offensive points scored, but he's had some monster weeks. Rashad White, do not start. And then Bucky Irvin, flex. We talked about him earlier.
Flex play.
Easily could see him as a flex play. Maybe an RB2 if you have people that are out due to the bye weeks, like we talked about at the very beginning of the show. What's a shame to me is honestly the rookie, Jalen McMillan. I've been looking forward. Everybody's been kind of looking forward to watching him play. He's been out since the beginning of the year. He's been, sidelined. I would also say Kate Otten, actually.
I am starting him.
Tight end.
I am
starting
Kate
Otten. I think he is definitely, with the tight end disaster we've had so far, he is a starter, top 12, or I almost said quarterback, top 12 tight end for this week. So he should be in your lineup if you have him. I'd play him over a lot. Honestly, I'd play him over Mark Andrews. Until Mark Andrews can prove it, I'm not putting on Mark Andrews in my lineup whatsoever, dude. It's kind of bullshit.
That too.
It sucks in Dynasty because his value has gone from, maybe a first round pick, back in first round pick, still had a great year last year to hell. He's a throw in now for probably a trade partner. So yeah, pretty much anybody in the offense, man, to be honest with you. The only person I wouldn't start is Rashad White just because he hasn't done anything this year. So
I agree, bro. On the Atlanta side, I'm not starting Cousins. I think you can have a better option with him.
Chains.
Yeah, I mean, it's bye week. You could probably
he's too infrequent. I mean,
I don't see any consistent.
He could be low on QB1, high in QB2 if you absolutely depend on who you have, or if you have somebody on bye and you have no choice. I mean, you may not have options out there as far as
he's throwing at 64%. He's got 864 yards, four touchdowns, 4 interceptions, so that wipes each other out. I mean, it's okay. Yeah, let's see what he does.
Great. It's not great considering his talent that he's got around him. You know who I'd play above him? The Red Rifle.
Oh yeah, I can see Andy Dalton for sure.
Oh, Dalton easily needs start
He's
over.
hot right now. So you're starting Bijan no matter what.
Yep.
Drake London, yes. Darnell Mooney, I would definitely. He's putting up some major numbers. Kyle Pitts, put him in a dumpster and ship him off. There's nothing else to do out there.
Same with Rangers. Like you just put those guys in a boat and sink that boat to the bottom.
And the kicker, Koo, he's always solid, bro.
Dude, he's been money, man. He won in the game this past week with like a 50-something yard field goal.
So you can rock with those guys. Those 4 would be my picks for you for tomorrow. And Matt, who are you picking to win this game? It's a great, interesting game.
I'm picking Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna go Atlanta.
Are you going just to be different, or you actually didn't?
No, I think they can do it. They're home. It's a division game. Everything gets played a little different, So
division games are always hard to predict. Just
I'm going Atlanta with the home crowd Thursday night. Cousins is starting to settle in finally. Let's ride.
Okay. All right. Tampa Bay for me. Like I said, man. Oh, and we gotta before we go, because I know we're doing a Friday night recording as well. But just a reminder for everybody, the first overseas game in Europe is on Sunday. So 8:30 a.m. Central Time. So I believe that's 9:30 your time, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
If you go all the way to the East or West Coast, it's 6:30 a.m. The Jets and the Vikings play in London.
Yeah.
So the Vikings are considered the home team, and the Jets are going to London. So just a reminder:
Jets are gonna crash.
Wake your ass up early to make sure if there's anybody who's questionable, make sure you check your lineup on Sunday morning. Otherwise, you might be stuck with somebody in your lineup who isn't playing.
They'll have They'll have jet lag. Get it? Sorry.
All right, man. You got anything else until we bug out?
No, we're out of here. We'll see them Friday. We'll be live Friday. Tune in.
Friday, man.
Questions,
normal
answers.
Time, 7:00 our time, or my time, Central Time, 8:00 Pat's time. So log in, bring questions. If you have trade questions, whatever it is, we'll bring, we'll talk about Thursday Night Football. We'll give a recap on that and talk about the other games on Sunday and Monday and give our start and sits, and then maybe bring up some trades that have popped up and talk about those.
Yep.
But until next time, peace. We're out.
Later.